this is a good one. Now you remember Orange is the New Black, right? But little did anyone know that because of this show, one of the writers would end up reassessing her marriage, questioning her sexuality, come out as lesbian, and fall in love with one of the cast members. Let's get into it. So Lauren Morelli was one of the lead writers on the show. She wrote the first 2 episodes of season 1, but things really turned up in season 2. In season 2, we see Piper and Alex fall back in love with each other. Now Lauren was the main developer of this story. As Lauren kept writing, she began to question her own feelings, which surprised and confused her. She said, "In Piper and Alex, I'd found a mouthpiece for my own desires and a glimmer of what my future could look like. But it was while writing the storyline for Pusey, Samira Wiley's character, that Lauren began to feel something different." Now, at the time, Lauren was married to a man, Steve Basalam, and they'd only been married for 5 months before she started questioning. She later told Out magazine it was after seeing Samira's audition tape that Lauren immediately had a crush on her. Now, I know some will find this controversial because she was married, but this is the legacy of compulsory heterosexuality. I've spoken about this before in another video, and about the impact it can have on people's lives and how people can become collateral damage. So this story is such a good example of why it's important to listen to your gut as soon as you can when it comes to your sexuality. We'll come on to Steve's reaction and how he dealt with it very shortly. But while Lauren was crushing hard on Samira, Samira fell for Lauren's mind before they even met. She told Bust magazine, "I was really attracted to Lauren's mind first, before I met Lauren the person. I got her script and I was like, this person's really talented. I can't wait to meet this person." Now Samira admits to being a little biased here. It was the first script that my character's name was actually in, where she says her name is Pusey. It's a script where the French intonation is made clear. The accent à droite. But then there was this rap battle in it, and I was like, who was this writer? They just wrote a whole rap battle. I just assumed they were going to be a person of colour, but Lauren was not. Let's just say, shout out, Lauren Morelli can write raps. So Lauren and Samira first met when Netflix started filming in 2012. They had an instant magnetism to each other. Lauren was writing a few scenes for Samira, and after spending time together going over it, they just found they had an immediate connection. But Samira knew she was married, and so at this point, it was just a friendship. When it came to the love scene between Piper and Alex, Lauren was nervous about seeing it come to life. She said, "I loved writing it, loved watching the tenderness emerge in their relationship, where passion always seemed to be the ruling principle. But by that time, I was so deep in my own self-doubt that I just constantly felt like a fraud. And it was more than just physical attraction that brought these two together. Lauren really needed someone to talk to, and she confided in Samira. In fact, that was the basis for their friendship, and that's the reason they became so close, because Samira, who came out in her 20s, was helping Lauren work through her feelings about her own sexuality. Lauren said, "Samira became my outlet, and through that process, I fell in love with her. But I thought, this will be the one that got away. Being with her felt too good to be true." Eventually, Lauren realized she was gay on set. Samira said, "I remember those first months with her, trying to figure out her journey with her own sexuality, feeling like she picked me as the person she was going to talk to about all of it. And it wasn't sexual, it was just like a friend. There was something deeply intimate about that, whether there was sexual tension there or not." Now at the time, Lauren actually wrote a confessional on identities.mic, detailing her experience. She wanted to be transparent with everyone, saying, "I realized I was gay in the fall of 2012, one of my first days on the set." Now I mentioned earlier that she felt like a fraud, so coming out openly was very important to her. She wrote, "I went through it all on set. I fell in love with a woman, and I watched my life play out on screen. And now as we're gearing up for the release of season 2, it feels liberating and appropriate to live my life in front of you." After filming started, Lauren still spent a year trying to work on her marriage. She told Out magazine that although she was open with her husband, and they tried couples therapy, the issue was obviously something that wasn't fixable in their relationship. And Samira became a source of comfort in figuring out her next steps. They were falling in love. Lauren filed for divorce from Steve in September 2014. That year, she and Samira also started dating. Samira later told Cosmo UK that they had built their relationship backwards, explaining that their friendship, in the beginning, was more of a confidant kind of relationship that became something more. Now you might have expected Lauren's husband to be fuming, but the truth is he understood comp het and was actually very supportive. Not only did they split on friendly terms, but the two have remained friends. Steve, a TV producer, often describes his ex-wife as his best friend and has encouraged people to tune in to the show that helped her realize her true feelings. The documents published by TMZ also reflect that the couple parted on good terms, having divided their property equally and fairly. So in total, they were married for 2 years, from 2012 to 2014. Samira later explained, that Lauren didn't want to hurt anyone, but they were able to have that relationship blossom from being scared of what was happening in her own marriage to being on the other side and realizing, oh, this is more than this, that we actually really love each other. Now, in addition to being madly in love with each other, neither of them could deny their chemistry, which was super intense from the start. In an interview with Vulture in 2014, Lauren got pretty candid about her first sexual experience with a woman, which happened with Samira. Lauren said, "I hadn't known myself before I had sex with a woman," adding that being with Samira made her see herself in a way that she just hadn't before. She also said that she never really felt like she belonged until she had been with Samira. "It just shifted my perception of where I belong, and once I belonged to her, it suddenly felt like I was able to take up more space. I was able to believe I belong in groups that I might have thought I don't belong in. So again, stepping out of comp het, there's this feeling of alignment that can only be described as home in your soul. But from that point, it wasn't always smooth sailing. About a year into their relationship, the couple went on vacation to Thailand, and this trip nearly broke them. Talking to Out magazine in 2016, they described that trip as a total disaster that just exposed everything. They realized how different they were. Lauren said, "I'm so neurotic," and Samira could not be more laid back, but this is where it gets beautiful. Samira said, "We always say it's amazing that we survived that trip, but however horrible it was, it helped me know that I want to be with her, because she could see all these parts of me and still want to be with me, and I could see all these parts of her and still want to be with her." She went on to say, "I would rather have the worst day with Lauren than the best day with someone else." Now let's talk about the engagement, because I love this. Samira explained that because Lauren had previously been married, she wanted Lauren to be the one that proposed whenever she felt ready for that commitment. So one weekend, right before a trip to Palm Springs, Samira recalls how they were getting ready to go when Lauren asked her to sit on the couch with her. They chatted for a while, then Lauren got her up and they started dancing together. Then Lauren pulled a ring out from behind the couch to propose. "I didn't know she was as ready as she was," Samira said. "I was crying uncontrollably and kept backing away from her." In October 2016, they announced their engagement on Instagram with a photo captioned, "Yes." They got married in Palm Springs. That's a special place to them. Samira's parents officiated the wedding, and the day was covered by Martha Stewart Weddings, who described the ceremony as a mix of traditional and non-traditional. Samira told Cosmo UK that was the best day of her life. So where are they now? Well, they've always talked about their future and starting a family, and they got to do just that. On Mother's Day in 2021, Samira announced the surprise birth of their daughter, George Elizabeth, who was born on April 11th, 2021. Lauren had carried the pregnancy, and fans didn't even know about the pregnancy. So the birth announcement was a complete surprise to the world. Now, George is an unusual name for a girl, so when asked why they chose it for their baby girl, Samira, who admitted that some people were very confused by it, said, "I wish I had some really in-depth story to tell people about George, because I know that's what people want, but I just really like the name." What's interesting is that Samira did some research and found out that in the 1800s, it was a girl's name, but people don't believe me when I say that, she says. She also pointed out that Nancy Drew's best friend, who was a girl, was also named George. These two are couple goals. Also, is it just me? Or does she look a lot like Katy Perry? Like and follow for more.